was the first conscientious objector to refuse military service in Israel after October 7th.
Two Israelis who were jailed for refusing mandatory military service in Israel are finishing a cross-Canada speaking tour here in BC.
Growing up in Israeli society, it's a very militarized society.
And they're sharing experiences with organizers of the Palestinian movement in Vancouver as a protracted war and humanitarian crisis in Gaza rolls on.
Because we're part of the struggle within, inside the Israeli society, and we need Canadians to pressure their governments, to pressure the Canadian government to stop arming Israel, stopping the genocide.
In 2023, federal government data show that Canada exported $30.6 million of military goods and tech to Israel, though it's noted that after the October 7th attack by Hamas and subsequent military action by Israel, all export permits issued were for, quote, non-lethal items. 21-year-old Anat Gerlitz refused to join the Israeli military in 2022, and 19-year-old Tal Mitnick refused at the end of 2023. Both of them say they were immediately incarcerated, Gerlitz for nearly 3 months and Mitnick for 6 before being released on exemptions.
I understood that I can't possibly serve the military that oppresses my Palestinian friends, and therefore I decided to refuse.
After October 7th, there was an environment in Israeli society where no one spoke up, when there was no voice of opposition to the war that will not only not bring us back the hostages and not come through with any of the objectives of the war, but also is massacring and genociding the Palestinian people.
A shaky ceasefire between Hamas and Israel came to a deadly end on Tuesday, with around 600 Palestinians killed after Israel resumed airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. It broke a truce made in January that allowed for the release of hostages and brought relative calm to the region. UN humanitarian agencies say the airstrikes came 2 weeks after Israeli authorities resumed their siege of Gaza, blocking aid and supplies from entering, potentially putting over 1 million people at risk of being without food this month. According to the United Nations, as of this week, a total of almost 50,000 Palestinians have died in the Israel-Hamas conflict.
It's very hard for us to be away from home at such hard times and to continue on with the speaking tour when such terrible atrocities are happening back home. And I think it just shows how important it is to have this voice of objecting the genocide.
Gerlitz and Mitnick say since they made their objections to serve in the war, other conscripts in Israel have started to follow in their footsteps. In Vancouver, Kier Junos, City News.